The first one is the fact that we are working very well as SADC member states, and we have established the SADC free trade area. And that free trade area is operational. It allows for more than 90% access duty-free market to the SADC member states. And of course, that gives a market that is conducive enough to attract foreign direct investment. Another important initiative where governments are collaborating together is the tripartite initiative, where we are saying it's not sufficient to only work within the regional economic community that a member is participating in, but let's look at broadening integration through ensuring that there's greater cooperation between the regional economic communities. So we have a negotiation that is now ongoing on the establishment of a tripartite free trade area between COMESA, EAC as well as SADC. And the important agenda out of that is that we're not only focusing on market integration or removing tariff barriers, but we are talking about a developmental integration agenda that is premised on 3 pillars. We're looking on market integration and the negotiation of a free trade arrangement which will deal with both trade barriers as well as non-tariff barriers. The second aspect of that work program is to look at how we can cooperate as governments on industrial development, because the critical issue is that we still as Africa are trading more with the outside world than with ourselves. The level of intra-Africa trade is around 11 to 13%. Of course, there's a challenge with that figure in that it's distorted mainly by our trade in oil because of the volume that comes about with trade in oil. But if you discount oil, you see that intra-Africa trade increases to a respectable figure of around 20%, which is very low by global standards.
Now tell me, if we are talking about again, I'm being impatient because we still have visa issues here that are just making it near impossible, let alone to trade, to move across borders in those areas that you've mentioned. And I agree, COMESA, EAC and SADC should be one by now. Am I unreasonable in expecting or in saying that agreement is long overdue, not only the agreement but the implementation of it? What's holding us back?
You're right in that it's critical that Africa works together and creates the critical mass that is enough to create economies of scale, and also to promote intra-regional trade, intra-regional investment within Africa. And yes, you may say that the agreement is long overdue, but if you look at the Abuja Treaty, we are still within the timeframes that we outlined in the Abuja Treaty.
So what is the key? What is the next milestone and timeline that will give us hope that we are moving in the right direction?
The next milestone is the establishment of the tripartite free trade area.
By when?
By in 2000. Well, we gave ourselves 3 years, which ended in 2014. But of course, because of the magnitude of countries that are involved in that negotiation, we could not meet the 3-year deadline. But we should be able, within the next 2 years, to finalize that negotiation. And the tripartite free trade area will be a stepping stone for a continental free trade area that will ensure that we have trade rules that are common across the African continent. It will make it easy for one to move goods from South Africa to Egypt.